Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. Good to be with you again today. Here we are. As the commercial says, it's hump day. It's the middle of the week. We've finished half of it. We're going to be halfway done at the end of the day. And it's time to think about, what am I doing with my time? What am I doing with my week? Am I just sort of hanging around, just living another day? Or am I doing something really important? And that thing that's really important is doing what God wants you to do. If all you can do is sit in your chair and ask God to bless somebody who's hurting, that's good enough. If you can go out and visit somebody who's hurting, that's good. If you don't do any more than smile and say thank you to the counter person, whatever store you go in, we can always do something for God. We can always have a grateful heart and express that to those that we meet. And as I continue in 1 Peter, I want to look at chapter 3 today, and I want to look at verse 8 and 9. It reads this way: all of you should be of one mind. Sympathize with each other. Love each other as brothers and sisters. Be tender-hearted and keep a humble attitude. Don't repay evil for evil. Don't retaliate with insults when people insult you. Instead, pay them back with a blessing. That is what God has called you to do, and He will grant you His blessing. Okay. We should be of one mind. Who's the we? Well, in Peter's context, he's talking about the Christians. And I don't know about your church, but everybody in my church doesn't think alike. In fact, I suspect on many issues we have as many opinions as we have people. Now, I know in some churches they lay down the law, lay down the rules. You got to believe this, and that. And if you do, you're fine. And if you don't, you're out. But that's not what Jesus talked about. You know, my wife and I don't agree on everything. If I demanded that or expected that, or she did, the only thing we'd get is disappointment. When he talks about here, be of the same mind, he doesn't mean to be agreeing on everything. But he does mean to agree on a purpose, our goal, our intent. What are we about? Why are you here? What can you do to make this a better world? It says here we should sympathize with each other. Love each other as brothers and sisters. Well, we should sympathize with each other because we really don't know what's behind what we're seeing with someone else. We don't know their experience. We don't know their feelings. We don't know their situation. All we know is what they do or say in front of us, and maybe that's not what they really wanted to do or say. You know, a lot of wisdom can be gained by trying to walk in somebody else's shoes for a while. Maybe that which we condemn makes the most sense to them. Now, that's not saying that everything is relative and nothing matters, but it is to say that in every situation, I need to show empathy. I really need to show compassion and concern, regardless of how it comes out. And he goes on to say that love each other as brothers and sisters. Well, I don't come from a big family. There were only two of us, and loving my brother was a real difficult thing to do. I suppose he'd say the same thing about me. Now, as we've gotten older, for reasons that I cannot explain, things have gotten a lot better. There's more concern than I've ever seen before. And if you've got a big family, the advantage of a big family is that when you get mad at somebody, you still have somebody else to play with. Small families don't have that. But we should love them. We should do acts of kindness towards them. The word here is agape love, which means to give a gift of love. Well, then it goes on to say, now, if we're going to do this, if we're going to love each other, we're going to sympathize with each other, and then Peter says, be tender-hearted and keep a humble attitude. You know, the prayer for alcoholics is that there, if not for the grace of God, there I would be. I feel sorry for addicts. I feel sorry for families of addicts of all sorts. Doesn't have to be a drug, an addict of anything. And we saw in the news in LA where some 6-year-old little kid got killed because somebody got upset about a car turning in front of them. Now, does that make any sense? Well, I guess at the time, the guy shooting it made sense to. Of course, now he's in big trouble, he and the driver, and that's as it should be. You can't do things like that. But this goes on to say that be kind and tender-hearted. My guess is if that driver and guy had been kind and tender-hearted, their future would look a whole lot different than what it does at the moment. And then he says, don't retaliate with insults when people insult you. Instead, pay them back with a blessing. Now, I've been insulted. I've been called names. Heck, one time I was even called being disrespectful to Satan. I didn't even know you could do that. and I still can't figure out what in the world was this guy trying to say. But I'll be insulted again. I'll be disrespected again. People are people, and the world is full of people who are not kind and not gracious, and every so often I will run into them. And at the same time, I'm kind of glad I do, because those are the people that need to experience a loving grace in place of a repeated insult. You see, God has a purpose for you and for me. We can be different. We can act differently. We can speak differently if we choose to. See, this is a choice. This is a ramification of what God did for me, so I can do the same to others. It's part of that little thing in the Lord's Prayer that Jesus said, Father, forgive me as I forgive those who sinned against me. And really what that's saying is, God, forgive me. But if I don't forgive others, then I don't want you to forgive me either. Now, I know that's not how people look at it often, but that's really what it's saying. And so here it says, be kind, tender-hearted, don't repay evil for evil, don't retaliate with insults. Instead, give people a blessing, because that's what God wants to do. And in any situation that you're involved, you are the one. You are the chosen person that God picks at that moment to return a blessing. So where could you do that this week? I hope you look around and find them. Take advantage of them. There are plenty out there. Well, thanks for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day. I appreciate you taking the time. If you have a concern or prayer need, let us know. We'll do everything we can as fast as we can to help meet your need. Until next time, God bless you. I'll talk to you again.